Alright, game changers, welcome back to another video here today. What I want to talk about in today's video is basically the biggest problem that we have with Call of Duty. I know there's a lot of things that can be argued as far as what in specific is the biggest problem with Call of Duty. So I'm not going to hone in on one particular thing over the other because there are a host of problems that can be specified for that very reason. But there is one overarching problem that I think can be solved if this were taken care of first. And that is the annual release cycle of Call of Duty. It's a series I get that has a massive fan base, consistently high sales figures every single year. But guess what? There are several problems that are associated with this yearly release cycle. And here are a few of the key issues that I find with this. Number one, it's lack of innovation. We're seeing it right now. The new Modern Warfare game that's coming out this year, made by Sledgehammer Games, is going to be called Modern Warfare 3. It's a continuation from the previous year's game. Like, when has that ever happened back to back? That shows you that it's a lack of innovation on Activision's part. Releasing a new game every year, again, puts this significant pressure on developers to meet these constant deadlines as well, so you're never really giving them a break. And I get it, there are different development studios. You have Infinity Ward, you have Treyarch, you have Sledgehammer Games, and they cycle amongst each other. But still, at the same time, you look at other games out there, even their developers get more time to put together games, get some ideas. But here's the thing about multiple Call of Duties every single year. The COD titles just feel very similar, and they also fail to offer substantial gameplay improvements or innovative features that feel much different than the previous ones. You know, these lack of significant changes also lead to, guess what? Player fatigue and decreased interest in these releases, and that's why we are seeing that. Yes, we see the sales numbers always be consistent, but at the same time, you are seeing a lack of interest in Call of Duty as a whole. These guys are just constantly running out of ideas, recycled streaks, recycled maps, recycled titles. Like, all of these things are not innovative whatsoever. And then number two, quality control. Quality control issues we have been seeing a lot. I mean, just look at the way that these games are released. They are never perfect upon launch. Do you guys remember back in the day when games came out, they were actually complete. They felt like complete games. The games that are coming out now, they come out first with all of these technical glitches, bugs, unpolished gameplay experiences. Then they want you to pre-order the game, and then later they patch them up with fixes. That is so opposite of how it should be. Players encounter a lot of these server instability issues, matchmaking problems, imbalanced gameplay, which hurts the game's reputation and frustrates us, the community. Back then, we didn't have these problems. We didn't have the whole live service thing. And I get it, things have changed. We have seasons and we have different things that prolong the gameplay with the multiplayer. I get all that. But at the same time, the very least that we could have, if we are expected to pay full price for the game, is to have a perfect game at launch. Otherwise, why are we paying full price for these things when it's not fully there? The game is not fully there. They bring out parts of the game already upon release and then later complete it, but we pay full price. Does that make any sense? Where else do you pay full price for something and then get the rest of the parts later? It just doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Then another thing, number three, is repetitive gameplay. Because guess what? Annual releases contribute to a sense of monotony in the Call of Duty franchise. And with this limited development time, developers often rely on this familiar gameplay, mechanics, settings, themes, leading to that repetitive experience. And guess what? This is discouraging for us longtime fans who are seeking something new, fresh, and engaging. And then in addition, number four is the yearly release cycle leads to shorter lifespans for the individual game titles. Because with the new Call of Duty game releasing every year, players, guess what? The community moves on to the latest game, leaving previous games with smaller player bases and less support from the developers. That's why we see these past games, even if you loved the past Call of Duties more than the latest Call of Duty, the support is not there. They fall prey to hackers and all sorts of things. Because guess what? The focus is no longer on those games anymore. The focus is on the latest one. And that's why this fragmentation can affect the longevity of each game and impact the overall community experience. That's why we're seeing a lot of these people enjoy the modding community's effort for games that are beloved, just like Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare 2, the original, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, the original Modern Warfare. All these games, or even a combination of all of these games combined with your favorite kill streaks and weapons and perks, all of that put into one. That's why a lot of the fans reminisce on these things, and that's why they don't care about the latest Call of Duty game, because they don't like the latest Call of Duty game. They like the previous Call of Duty games better. But guess what? The support is not there. That's why people are turning to these mods for that support, and so that way we don't have to face hackers and etc. all of these things. And then of course, number 5, annual releases result in incomplete games at launch as developers prioritize meeting the release deadline over fully polishing that product. So this again ties in with the incomplete games. And this leads to a reliance on post-launch updates and patches to address issues, which leaves players with unfinished optimized experiences. And in addition, COD titles have faced criticism for implementing these aggressive microtransactions, which potentially impacts the gameplay balance and fairness. And we see that quite often because sometimes they focus more on the microtransactions than the actual in-game play stuff, and that is just never acceptable. Then of course, my last point, developer burnout. Now I get it that there are again 3 different development studios: Treyarch, Sledgehammer Games, and Infinity Ward. I get that. And then occasionally you got Raven helping in. But then you have Treyarch, who has to help other studios with their main games. Like for example, in Call of Duty 2023, even though the main studio working on this game is Sledgehammer Games, you have Treyarch coming in and helping with the zombies. So are they actually getting the break that they deserve? No, they're really not. So this annual release cycle puts immense pressure on development teams, which leads to burnout and creative stagnation. And guess what? The demanding schedules and expectations by Activision can negatively impact the health and well-being of these developers. This affects the quality of the work and overall job satisfaction as well. And then also, don't forget that we have Warzone, which again requires continuous updates and seasonal content as well, in addition to those annual releases. And guess what? There's even more focus that has to be put on all of these different projects at the exact same time. So do you think these guys get any sort of break whatsoever? Yes, again, I acknowledge that there are different development studios involved with Call of Duty, but at the same time, all of these developers are never catching a break, whereas other games get developers who catch a break and then they work on the next title, so on and so forth. But Call of Duty, in addition to maintaining the seasonal updates and continuous updates, they again then have to worry about a new COD title that's going to be coming out the next year or the next 2 years from now. So I don't think these guys ever get a break, and that's why I think it's really a big detriment to the way that Call of Duty is handling their games. And we can obviously see that in the quality. But anyways, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell to be notified every single time I upload a video. Now with that being said, this is GCP signing off.